Welcome to episode 273 of the All the Books Show, the official podcast of the David A. Howe Public Library. We talk book news, author news, and literary news. I'm Eric Mickles.
I'm Nick Gunning. And Eric, we have a special guest today. Who's with me?
Weston Gunning.
That's right. My son Weston is here to talk all things Dinovember. Now, Eric, as you recall, you were briefly replaced as the co-host of this podcast for us to talk about JJK's Lunch Lady series.
Totally.
I do remember that.
That's really the best series.
You still a fan?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's see. Weston, what do we usually do at this part of the podcast? I can't remember.
I think I remember.
Okay.
Bookmark.
There we go. All right. Eric, what have you been reading lately?
Some things I can't talk about.
Really? I see.
In the full company. Anyway,
Above
I read
PG level. Understood.
I read The Dark Knight Returns, The Golden Child, which is a standalone 98-page graphic novel Frank Miller did because he hates everybody in the world.
See, I sort of like the way that Master Race, I kind of enjoyed some of the more recent stuff.
No, that was fine, but Golden Child came out. I was like, who's this for? Honestly, somebody needs to stop him, and they need to stop him 20 years ago.
What is this? Can you tell me what it is? Because I saw it on your Goodreads.
It takes place after Master Race.
I sure do. Just a second.
It's a combination. It's stupid. The
Okay.
Joker's back.
All right.
Darkseid is showing up. Everybody's mad. It's during the actual election, so there's a lot of Trump references.
Jeez.
It's just a mess. I don't know. And like the Supergirl character is there. I hated this.
So it's set after Master Race, though?
Yes.
What a weird thing to do. What a weird
because
tag.
Carrie Kelly is Batwoman.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you remember forever ago when they announced that he was going to do a YA Carrie Kelly graphic novel? And then nobody ever talked about it again after that announcement?
Yeah, I think they realized, like, oh, wait, we just suggested Frank Miller interact with teens.
Right.
Pass.
Yeah.
Hard pass.
Okay. What else you got?
I read Invincible Ultimate Collection Volume 11.
I love it. Keep it coming.
I read The Magic Order, which is by Mark Miller, and is actually it's an Image comic, but it's under the Netflix. Like Netflix technically published this comic.
Oh, well, they got that big overall deal with Mark Miller, so I guess that makes sense.
So they published this.
No, how could we forget about you? We're just doing bookmark. It's Eric's turn. Just a sec.
And they were going to make it into a show, but they put it on pause because of the coronavirus.
Okay.
But this was a few years ago that it came out. Anyway, it's like dark Harry Potter mafia stuff.
Okay.
It was fine. I read the first volume of The Wicked and the Divine by Kieran Gillen, which is about a bunch of people that turn out their gods and then they only have 2 years to live. And then I read Blood, Sweat, and Pixels, the triumphant, turbulent stories behind how video games are made by Jason Schreier, which was a good read.
How does this line up to like the other video game histories you've read?
Oh, well, this is current stuff. This is like he's talking to people about how they made Shovel Knight, how they made Stardew Valley, how they made Uncharted 4, and like some stuff that didn't happen, like Star Wars 1313.
Yeah,
just
that kind of vanished, didn't it? What about Celeste? Did they talk about Celeste?
They didn't talk about Celeste. I think Celeste came afterwards. This was like 2018.
Okay.
So like he's talking about how the first Destiny was made, and it's so funny because at the end he's like the future of Destiny is unwritten at this point. I'm like, well, it's pretty written at this point. Because it just kind of follows how like Bungie went from not wanting to do Halo anymore to doing Halo, or like the people who made Halo Wars, they were the people who made Age of Empires, and so it just kind of talks about that story. So it's kind of like it is very turbulent stuff, like people feeling like they're at the end of the rope, like the Stardew Valley guy, like feeling like he can't do it anymore because he's been making this project for 4 years by himself. Or the things that went wrong and how they got it out. It deals a lot with crunch. It deals a lot with the stress of it and stuff. So a lot of stuff in this I knew of, but I didn't know like the intense details because maybe they were games that I know of, but I haven't played.
So you got schooled. You got schooled on video game knowledge.
Yeah, I got schooled. It was a good read. I also read This Is How You Lose the Time War by Amal Al-Motar. This is the one that's won the Hugo Award for Best Novella in 2020.
Okay.
And the Nebula Best Novella. It's a shorter book. It's very, I guess, lyrical in its prose, you could say. A lot of stuff that reads like she's running on the steps of Jericho. There are teeth gnashing. She bites back. The stars realign. She's in front of Caesar. Knives fly through the air. And you're just like, what's happening? And so
I feel like there was some censorship on your part because of our third co-host.
I feel like I can't tell you exactly what happened throughout.
Okay.
But I can tell you what the book was feeling at me. Spoil it for me. You know, it's one of those books. Like, I understand the emotions and everything it was sending my way, and whether or not I related to or understood those emotions,
right.
up in the air. But anyways, it's an interesting read. Won lots of awards, so there you go.
Nice. Okay.
And at the moment, I'm reading Scar Tissue, by Anthony Kiedis.
Yes.
And I definitely won't talk about it in our mixed company.
That's quite a bold move on your part. You never know when you read a book about somebody you admire. Sometimes it is a mistake.
Yeah, the more I've learned about him, it's definitely one of those cases where it's like, well, I certainly don't want to be this guy, and I don't consider him to be like a hero.
Yeah.
It's definitely one of those things where it's like, it's a good thing I learned to love his lyrics before I learned about his character.
Yeah. It's
all over the place with certain stuff. I mean, I'm almost done. I'm on 375 of 465.
Okay.
And he just finished talking about the I'm With You album. There's a lot of stuff that happens before they form the band. He talks a lot about John Frusciante leaving, the kind of like dead zone of like the mid 90s. I mean, for him, a lot of stuff was happening. But it's also the overarching theme of this book is his quest for sobriety. That's the character arc, if you will.
Okay. You haven't picked up Flea's book, have you?
No, because that came after, so I wanted to read Scar Tissue first.
Sure.
And from what I understand, Flea's book, Acid for the Children, it stops right as they form the band, the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
What a weird
So it's
choice.
all like Flea's earlier life. Whereas this one is like, I was born to these people, and like it goes all the way to like 2003.
Okay.
But interesting stuff. I mean, there are songs that he wrote on the I'm With You album that are about Kurt Cobain. He knew River Phoenix was there when they were recording.
Oh, wow.
I'll just say the fifth album. He was there when they did their fifth album.
Okay.
There are some songs in there about River Phoenix. In fact, I even think there's a song in Give It Away Now. There's lyrics regarding River Phoenix.
Wow.
So
I guess I didn't realize they were connected.
So just kind of connected. I mean, he was babysat by Cher and Sonny and Cher.
That's hilarious.
So there's all these like weird things where you're like, oh, he knew this person. They were interacting with this person. So
that's heavy. That's a heavy bookmark. Mine is very light. I think I'll have our guest go next. Weston, have you been reading anything interesting you want to tell us about?
I've been reading Tiny Titans as usual.
Oh, yeah? Is that your favorite right now?
It's hard to decide.
Okay. What are some of the titles of that series?
Trios and Beyond.
Okay. And these are ones, I mean, you've checked these out from the library so many times now. We had to go and buy our own copies because you just wanted them all the time.
Yep.
I've been there.
Yeah. Who's some of your favorite characters in Tiny Titans?
Kid Flash.
Okay.
Like always.
Good choice, yeah. Who writes these? I can't remember.
Art Baltazar.
Mm-hmm. And do you remember who does the art?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Franco,
that's right. They do a lot of things together.
James Franco.
Not James Franco, Eric.
Is doing the art.
Not Dave
Stars
Franco.
The Spider-Man trilogy.
No, it's a different guy.
I know it's not Dave Franco.
Yeah.
He would get the job, but I don't think he could do the job.
They're the same people who wrote Superman Family Adventures books.
Oh, that's right.
Oh,
and Superman with Smallville and stuff like that. They also wrote that Shazam book. Do you remember the Shazam one we read?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, they did. So 2 thumbs up for you?
Yeah.
Okay. That's good.
Yeah. Good. That's the max amount of thumbs you can give. So that's important.
That's all you can do.
I've also been reading Ninjago.
Oh, that's right. You have a Ninjago.
Ninjago, yeah.
Yeah. You have a Ninjago graphic novel now, right?
Yep.
What did you think of that movie?
Oh, it was fun.
Really?
Yeah.
What's one of the funniest parts of the Ninjago movie?
Well, spoilers! A villain is the leader of the superhero's father.
Oh, really?
Yep, the leader of the ninjas' father.
Is that a spoiler? Do we need to put up your spoiler tag for it?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll do that. All right, one thing that you and I have been reading together is The Royal Book of Oz by Ruth Plumley Johnson. What do you think of that book so far?
Actually, it's by the Wizard of Oz.
Well, yeah, it's a Wizard of Oz book, but Ruth Plumley Johnson is the author. What did you think of it so far?
Well, I've been liking it.
It kind of freaked you out in places, didn't it?
Yeah.
The pictures
Yeah.
sometimes. Who's the spookiest?
Wait till your dad shows you Return to Oz.
Yeah, that's the truth. There's one Wizard of Oz movie that's so scary. It's called Return to Oz, and it is spooky. But what was the character that freaked you out? Do you remember?
Isn't it that pumpkin guy?
Oh yes, Jack. Yep, and also the patchwork girl. Remember that? She's all like rags.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of crazy stuff. But what about the snake that's all blocks? That's pretty cool, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He's fun. I
Yeah.
like how he has, like, a train conductor hat or something.
Yeah, he does. Yep. Yep. A lot of crazy things happen in the Wizard of Oz series, Eric.
Speaking of snakes, I just started playing a game called Snake Pass,
Okay.
and it's a very you play as a snake, and it's weird because the controls are meant to be a snake.
Okay.
So you just press the right trigger, and that moves you forward.
Okay.
And then you can press the A, and that lifts your head up, and then you can like move him around, so you can wrap around things, and you can. But that's it. Like you don't have a jump. You don't have any control of your like the tail.
Okay.
So like you're trying to get high places, and he's just like and so you're dealing with how hard it is to live in the world as a snake. It's not easy. It's not easy playing a platformer as a snake.
Are you trying to scare people? Because I have a game kind of like that.
No, you're not. You're just actually the snake's a vegetarian in this game. You're just trying to collect orbs and keys and make the world better and swim through levels. What's this game that you're playing that's so scary?
It's not scary. It's called the Untitled Goose Game. And do you know what's funny about it? It's untitled. And Untitled Goose Game is a title. And it says it's untitled.
That's how they get you.
Yeah.
And
All right.
you're trying to freak people out and steal their stuff. And I'm still on in the farm, and I've been collecting this stuff and doing a lot. I finally got his keys, but now I'm stuck.
So you have to like get the farmer's keys, and then you have to like open the gate. You have all sorts of little like missions you're trying to do.
Actually, you can't open the gate with his key. You have to turn on the sprinkler in order to get in the garden.
Oh, so it's like a puzzle game. You got to figure out what things make him do different things.
Yeah, so now I have to figure out how to get him to wear his sun hat. I can't get it off the rack and put it on his head, and it's just impossible to get his hat off.
That sounds crazy.
Yeah.
And I've been hiding stuff that he wants in his flowers.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So he's just wandering around his garden.
Untitled Goose Game. I saw they have that on Switch now too. We have it on PS4, but it is on Switch and other things.
I have it on Steam.
And I found another place
Yeah.
where I've stolen their pacifier.
Oh my
and
goodness.
Put it on the river.
You're a real menace as a goose, aren't you?
Gary, where's my insulin? The goose got it. Get the goose, Gary.
And a water bottle.
My insulin.
What other games have we been playing?
Darn you, goose.
Since Dinovember.
Eric's really digging into this goose game here.
Yeah.
I think he should play it, don't you?
Yeah, I had it. I bought it. I bought the goose game for Steam because Kendra really wants to play it. It's a 2-player.
Well, not like very fun. It's kind of soothing.
Soothing? Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
you're they call, what do they call him? The annoying goose. That's what people call him. The annoying goose online.
He's just messing with stuff. He's just messing with people's lives. What about on the Switch? What have we been playing on the Switch?
We've been playing Mega Man 11.
Yes.
I mean, Mega Man 2, the worst.
No. We played the first 5 games.
Which is the one on the Xbox?
Yeah, there's like the first 5 games are like the Mega Man Legacy Pack or something. The Legacy Pack Volume 2, which is like games 7 through 10.
It's like not possible to beat.
That's true. Volume 2 of the Legacy Pack is so hard. But right now we're playing Mega Man 11, which is on the Switch, which you can check out from the library.
Yeah, and we've defeated everyone, but now Yellow Devil. Those things are so hard to beat.
That's true.
Yes, they are.
I mean, you have to shoot them when their eye is open.
The Yellow Devil has been plaguing people since the 1980s, so this is relatable content.
It's very hard.
I agree.
You can't. It's like unbeatable. There's no trick to it. You just have to do it.
It's really hard. So we've been kind of alternating between Mega Man 11 and Zelda: Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
Which is a lot of fun.
Yeah, but Zelda, we were almost through a tomb and we died and started us.
Yeah, you have to go
all the way back at the beginning.
You have to go through these tombs and get these runes to like open up castles and things. And we kept getting to like the end of this one, and something would take us out, and we had to start all over again. So that's why it's nice to have a couple of games in the mix. All right. As far as my reading, I've had a slow week. I've read a lot of dinosaur-esque things that we'll talk about when we get when we get to the Dinovember spotlight. But I did want to tell you that I finished Batman 66 Meets the Green Hornet by Kevin Smith and Ralph Garman.
Finally.
I know, and that was a lot of fun because what's always seemed super weird to me about those series is that they share a narrator, so like if you're a fan of Batman 66 and you switch over to the Green Hornet, you're expecting the same tone because you still get the "Will the Green Hornet," like you still get that vibe. But the show is so serious. Like, it's not funny or campy at all. It's meant to be a really serious
original
show.
Right. Yeah.
So it's so weird. It's so weird to like keep some of the tonal things but have the story be very serious and not funny. But what the comic book does well is straddles the line of like the Batman goofiness and the Green Hornet seriousness in a way that I think is actually pretty true to both shows. So
what a weird sentence that is.
Yeah.
The Batman goofiness and the Green Hornet seriousness.
Sure. Yeah.
It's just so funny, like, today to hear that.
I know.
But I mean, it's true. That's how it was. You knew what it was doing and being goofy on purpose.
Yeah.
So
I'm currently reading still A Time for Mercy by Grish. This is the third book in the Jake Brigance series. I'm liking it so far. It's just been slow going, so I don't have too much to report in that front. As far as what I've been watching, we've been watching Designated Survivor on Netflix. So this was it was 2 seasons, I want to say on ABC, and then Netflix picked it up for the 3rd season. We didn't really watch it the first time around, but we started it on Netflix, and it's actually really good. It's an interesting story. It's where
at
every State of the Union they keep one cabinet official out in case something catastrophic happens. And of course, in this, it's Kiefer Sutherland, who is the HUD Secretary, Housing and Urban Development. Yeah. And he becomes the president, only there's like basically no government because all, the Supreme Court, the House, the Senate, everybody was taken out in this attack. So it feels like vaguely sci-fi to me because it's such a it feels more like that show Jericho. And it even has some cast members from Jericho in it. But,
or Battlestar Galactica did the same kind of thing.
Exactly.
What was Rosalind? Was she education?
Yeah. Secretary of Education. Yep.
Oh boy. Yeah. That would be our hell if that was to happen.
Oh my gosh. I'm in it, but it has that like alternate, like a kind of a Harry Turtledove kind of feel to it. So I'm like,
the guy who writes the Atlantis books, the alternate history.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, I watched an episode of this when my mom was watching it.
Yeah, pretty
That's
good
all I
so
can
far.
say about it. I don't know if she finished it. It got canceled though, right? Because
Netflix picked it up for 10 episodes and kind of concluded it, but didn't order any more. So I don't know. I guess we'll see.
One of the actresses from it is in something that I was paying attention to.
How
I can't remember what it is now.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't remember what it was from.
All right. I did finish watching Curb Your Enthusiasm season 10. While we have HBO Max temporarily because of my DC Universe app, I finished the most recent season of Curb Your Enthusiasm. Always a good time. Right. Some fun recurring character. Vince Vaughn was in it this time, which was cool.
I was watching the Peacock has that that 24/7 SNL channel.
Yeah.
And the Burn Your Enthusiasm, the Bernie Sanders Curb Your Enthusiasm thing was there.
That's fun.
And it's funny. I've never watched an episode of Kirby or Enthusiasm, but I know of Jim Garland. So like all that stuff. It's just
Garland.
Jeff Garland, yeah.
I don't think you'd enjoy it. I don't think it's your jam.
Really?
Well, I mean, you don't really like the awkward humor. It's a lot. Oh, do you? Okay, well, hey. I'm not going to discourage you from watching Curb Your Enthusiasm. Do it. Yeah. I think it starts strong.
As soon as HBO Max is on Roku.
Yeah, I know. Seriously, it's been 10 it's 10 seasons, but spread out over 20 years, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, that's an Adult Swim show at that point.
Yeah, pretty much. What about you, Weston? You watching anything good you want to share?
Well,
don't talk about Dinosaur yet. We're not to Dinosaur Zone. But what's your favorite show of the moment?
I've been watching Pokemon.
Pokemon?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Good call.
All right. Do you have? Well, tell me a little bit about Pokemon. I don't know anything about Pokemon. Eric does. I don't. So tell me about it.
Well, it isn't really about anything but Pokemon.
Got it. Okay.
So Ash Ketchum, he
Pokemon.
wants to be the greatest Pokemon trainer out there. So he's going to go on a quest to get the 8 gym badges of his area. Unfortunately, the day he's supposed to get his first Pokemon, he overslept. Thus, there's no Bulbasaur, Charmander, or Squirtle for him to obtain.
Oh my goodness.
But Professor Oak still does have a Pokemon there waiting for him, and that Pokemon is Pikachu. Unfortunately, Pikachu has kind of a chip on his shoulder when it comes to Ash, but after some misunderstandings and some frustrating moments with other wild Pokemon, they kind of see eye to eye, and Ash has to, really go out there to help Pikachu, and they kind of bonded. Along the way, Ash makes some friends, both gym leaders, actually. Misty, who's the water gym leader of Cerulean City, and Brock, the first gym leader he chases. We find out Brock is raising his family, a whole bunch of different brothers and sisters.
I told you.
The dad shows up.
Eric's an expert.
Anyway.
Did that sound right? Did that sound like the plot of Pokemon to you?
I used to be watching that one, but now I can't find it.
Oh,
I typed in Pokemon and it isn't on my Netflix.
Oh, okay.
Oh, maybe it's not on Netflix anymore.
So what's the one that you're watching called?
Sun and Moon.
Oh.
I'm watching the Sun and Moon series.
That's the brand new one.
Wow,
yeah.
You're so hip, Weston. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice, up to date.
I've got a few
Moon
Pokemon
takes place on these islands that are similar to
Here
Hawaii.
Do you say have Pokemon cards?
Yeah.
What's your favorite Pokemon card that you have?
I want to say Hey Bulbasaur, but I have this ultra rare GX card.
Oh.
They're the rarest.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Eric, what was that Pokemon card you left in a book that you donated to the library forever ago?
It was probably Cubone. It was either a Beedrill or a Cubone.
It was Beedrill. It was Beedrill.
Yeah, it was
I remember. Okay.
Yeah. Beedrill card was very nice.
Okay.
The Pokemon card.
Nice.
It's one of those things where, like, the bee Pokemon from the game that I didn't carry around in my party for more than, like, one city, and then the card is just, it's great. The card was cool.
Wow.
I remember it being great. I think it was the hit points. It was cheap, and the hit points it had were very impressive and equaled out kind of its chance-like moves.
Wow. Did you ever read any of the Pokemon manga we have in the collection?
I used to have a graphic about all the different Pokemon, but...
We do have some Pokemon graphic novels in the library. I can get them for you.
Oh, yeah.
All right. What about you, Eric? Have you been watching anything?
Yeah. Don't forget.
We just started watching the Auntie Donna series that's on Netflix. They're a comedy troupe that Kendra and I have known about, but I don't think, but because they're Australian, we haven't seen. Though we've seen some of their stuff online. It's very funny. Don't watch with your kids.
Okay.
But I mean, in the first episode, within 2 minutes, Kendra was in tears. She was laughing so hard. And then it just keeps going. So I'd recommend it to anybody. If you're not familiar with this Auntie Donna, I think it's called Auntie Donna's Funhouse or something, but definitely watch it and give it a chance. And you'll know if you like it right away.
Okay.
But it's good stuff.
All right.
So
sounds fun.
I mean, we also finished that Canadian show about the family that was rich and then they're poor and then they're living in that town in Canada. It has Dan Levy, Catherine
Something's
O'Hara.
Creek.
So we finished that.
Something's Creek. Got it.
And now we're caught up with The Mandalorian.
Oh, fun. Okay, yeah, I'm caught up with The Mandalorian as well.
I finished that show. I finished Cougar Town.
Does it end strong? I've never seen the end.
Yeah, it was very strong.
Does it have a finale, like they knew it was the end?
Yeah, they knew it was the end.
Oh, cool. Okay. Well, that's always nice.
Yeah. I want to watch that other show that Bill Lawrence did, the Ground Floor, but I can't find it anywhere.
Oh, I don't even know what that is.
I think it only lasted 2 seasons.
Oh, okay.
It had Dr. Cox from Scrubs in it.
Boy, I don't remember that at all.
All right.
Okay, well, a Godspeed and looking for it. What about Spin City?
Yeah, maybe I'll give Spin City a go.
I love Spin City. I think it holds up. All right, Weston, we're moving on to the next part of the show. Do you know what that one is?
So, now let's do some book news.
Okay.
Yeah, all right.
Look into the future to see what it proves. It's time for book news.
given the approval. Number 10 on the on the New York Times bestsellers list, the combined print and ebook fiction. Maybe we'll see some dinosaurs on this. You never know where James Patterson's going to be.
That's true.
Number 10, Anxious People by Frederick Bachman. A failed bank robber holds a group of strangers hostage at an apartment open house. Number 9, White Ivory by Susie Yang. Years after being sent to China as punishment by her mother, Ivy Lynn reconnects with her teenage crush, but her past threatens to catch up with her.
Oh, see, that happens. Sometimes your past catches up to you. So you got to be real careful.
Yeah. Number 8, The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett. The
I've read it.
Two twin sisters who run away from a southern black community at age 16 diverge as one returns to the other takes on a different racial identity, but their fates intertwine.
But do they? That's my question. Having read the book, do they really intertwine?
Number 7, The Invisible Life of Adie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. A Faustian bargain comes with a curse that affects the adventure Adie LaRue has across centuries. Number 6 is The Searcher by Tana French. After a divorce, a former Chicago police officer resettles in an Irish village where a boy goes missing. Number 5, The Evening in the Morning by Ken Follett. It's a prequel to Pillars of the Earth, a boat builder, a Norman noblewoman, a monk, a priest, a rabbi.
How is that not the setup for a joke? Every time you say it, I think you're lining me up for a zinger. Okay.
I've been working on this thing about regular Thomas.
Okay.
And how hard his life is because he's got there's a peeping Tom in the village.
Yeah.
People are like, oh, there's peeping Tom. He's like, no, I'm
the other one.
Tom.
Yeah, kind of a Life of Brian situation, maybe. Okay.
Number 4, The Return by Nicholas Sparks.
Of
a
the
doctor
Mac?
serving in the Navy in Afghanistan goes back to North Carolina where 2 women change his life. Number 3, The Sentinel by Lee Child and Andrew Child and Beverly Child and Thomas Child and Michael Child and Child.
Yeah.
Kid Child.
I think Julia Child was there,
Child.
if I remember right.
Yep. Yeah. Also, ooh, Child.
That's a child.
Jack Reacher intervenes on an ambush in Tennessee and uncovers the conspiracy. Number 2, A Time for Mercy by John Grisham, the third book in Jack Briggens series.
Jake. Yeah.
Jake Briggens. Number 1, new this week.
Drum roll.
There was no James Patterson. You know what? Sometimes you go looking for dinosaur bones and you don't find them. Number 1, Fortune and Glory by Janet Ivanovich, the 27th book in the Stephanie Plum series.
Yeah,
Stephanie.
Sorry, I saw this and I was puzzled by it because it's the first one that's not like, it
doesn't have a number.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Where's the 27th to Glory?
Yeah.
Or Glory 27? Yeah, Stephanie deals with a soldier of fortune from Little Havana.
The book jacket has something that says, like, it's not sizzling, but it's something like that, like, or Triumphant 27, something.
It's called Fortune and Glory, but then it says Tantalizing 27.
Really small at the bottom. So that's weird. It seems
What's going on?
26 books in is a weird time
Sounds like
to change.
her son is getting a little bit too much control.
Yeah, I think so. I think you're right.
Yeah.
All right, now is the moment we've all been waiting for. Eric's basically been working his whole life up for this moment. That's right, Weston. What's our theme today?
Dinosaur.
Because what month is it?
Dinovember.
That's right. It's Dinovember. So, Weston is our expert here on a new show called Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous. So this is a Netflix series, came out in 2020, and was actually, a lot of it was recorded remotely just because of the pandemic and everything, but it all came together and it came out. It's set sort of concurrently with Jurassic World and has already been renewed for a second season. So, Weston, what is this about? What's the basic plot of this show?
Can I tell you about what happened in the last episode of season 1?
Oh, that's a spoiler. I don't think we should do. Let's set up the show first. Tell us what the show is about to start with.
Well, it's about a bunch of kids going to Camp Cretaceous after he beat the Jurassic World game.
Yeah. So, like, if you win the Jurassic World video game, it's kind of a Willy Wonka situation where you get a golden ticket to go to Jurassic World, and one of the kids gets that. One of them is kind of like the spoiled rich kid. One is like a social media person who, is supposed to, like, drive up interest. She's an influencer, Eric. And, it's made up of just this kind of diverse group of kids who are there to experience Jurassic World. Now, Weston, was this your first Jurassic World thing you'd ever seen?
No.
Oh, really? What was the first?
The first one was at Lego Jurassic World.
Oh, okay. Did you like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I loved it.
So did you have a favorite character in Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous?
Kenji.
Why did you like Kenji?
Kenji said VIP way too many times.
That's true. Kenji's sort of the spoiled rich kid jock who is he's a self-proclaimed alpha male, as it says. So he's the one who's like, yeah, let's do this, getting everybody into trouble. Darius is really the lead. He's the one who gets there by winning the game, and he's the one who's like the super Jurassic Park dino fan. He's the one who's like saving everybody because he's the Eric of the group, basically. Don't you think?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's kind of the Eric of the group.
I have dino hand sanitizer with dinosaur DNA.
Yes, Weston does have special dinosaur hand sanitizer.
See?
Eric, did you ever watch more than the first 2 episodes of the show?
No, I've still only seen the first 2 episodes.
It starts kind of slow, right? They're just like going to the camp and stuff. But Weston, did you think that it was scary?
Yeah, and the most surprising part that made both of us jump was when
is it Carnotaurus? Carnotaur?
Yeah,
Carnotaurus. Yeah.
Carnotaurus.
He's a bad guy.
Kenji accidentally made it a loud echo.
Yeah.
5 seconds later, a Carnotaurus was like.
Yeah, he popped right through. They were crawling through the vents like Die Hard style, trying to get out.
Yeah, just jumped, and I was like, ah!
We both did jump. I think Eric, you might actually enjoy it, only because I
am scared of Carnotaurus.
You are, yeah. He's a good bad guy, and the Indominus is sort of like wandering through the whole time, right? We just kind of see him every once in a while.
Listen, not to make him a scarier dinosaur than he already is, but the Carnotaurus means meat-eating bull.
Meat-eating bull. What's your favorite dinosaur, Weston?
Raptor.
Oh, yeah.
I like raptors.
Yeah, but I thought you liked the tiny ones.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the Compsognathus.
There you go. Eric said the whole
They call them compies on the in the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, those were fun. The thing about it was, like, when it started, it seemed like, well, they're not really going to be able to do the Jurassic World, Jurassic Park peril that you're used to. But they did. I mean, they really went for it. In a lot of cases, I was kind of like, whoa, okay, well, let's move on from that quickly, because stuff does happen.
Remember Bumpy?
Yeah. Oh, tell them about Bumpy, yeah.
Bumpy is what's he called again?
Ask Eric.
What's Bumpy?
Oh, an Ankylosaurus.
Yeah, that's what he is.
Yeah.
He was kind of your favorite nice dinosaur, don't you think?
Yeah.
One of the characters, Ben, finds him in Dr. Wu's lab, and he becomes, I don't know, he sort of follows them around, and he can sense the danger before they can, so he becomes kind of an important little guy. But it actually ends up being a pretty scary, a pretty intense Jurassic World story.
And none of them want Ben to bring Bumpy.
Yeah. But they're glad that they do, because Bumpy knows when the big dinosaurs are coming. He can feel it.
Yeah, but he's not fully grown.
Correct.
He's like a teenager.
He's a teenager dinosaur, you know. So he's got the acne and the bad attitude, and he's always in the bedroom and stuff.
Baby Bumpy.
Yeah.
That's how it works. It ends on a pretty big cliffhanger, Eric. I don't want to spoil it for you, but don't tell him what happens at the very end. But we're ready for season 2, don't you think? We need to know what happens next.
Yep.
Pretty exciting. All right. Tell us a little bit about the Lego ones. Because you've been watching. There's 3 different Jurassic World Lego shows.
Yeah. I think I can only remember one name, Secret Exhibit. I really like that one.
Yeah.
That one was one of my favorites. But the last one is the whole series.
Yeah. There is one on Netflix now that's like 13 episodes or something, and it's set, I think it's a kind of a prequel to Jurassic World.
I was watching it in this dark.
Yeah, it got dark out.
Yeah, it was just like this, and it's kind of scary.
Was it more fun to watch in the dark?
Yes.
Wow. The fun thing about the Lego ones is that the series, like the long series on Netflix, has an episode where Malcolm comes back, and whoever they got voicing the Goldblum character does a really good job. It's very Malcolm-esque. And there's also
Owen has raptors.
Yeah, Owen has the raptors. There's also one where Grant comes back. So it's just kind of fun to see those characters interacting with the new ones. He has like the hat, and he's got the red ascot and the blue shirt. He's only in the one episode. All right, so Weston, what do you think your favorite Jurassic World thing is that you've watched for Dinovember?
I think it was the
secret exhibit?
Yeah.
Okay. And what was the scariest Jurassic World thing you watched?
Camp Cretaceous.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, you jumped pretty high on some of those.
That was creepy.
Yeah, it was definitely creepy. Eric, now I remember last year for Dinovember, you were going to read, what was the book that you were going to read that is now impossible to find?
Carnosaurus. Yeah, I had made the promise that I read Carnosaurus for Dinovember. That was what I was planning on. But I didn't realize that it's like an out-of-print, impossible to find. It was like $100 on Amazon.
Yeah. And that's the one that was made into like a Roger Corman movie, right? Like kind of a mockbuster around when Jurassic Park came out.
Yeah. Carnosaurus 1. Gosh, I think it was the same. And it's using like puppets and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aren't there several though? Didn't it spiral into like many?
Oh, I think it's I think it has its own weird series. But yeah, it's people. I like a mad scientist. Mm-hmm. And the book came out before Jurassic Park. Seems like if you see a copy of Carnosaur by Harry Adam Knight out there in the wild, grab it.
You grab it. I know that Roger Ebert named it the worst movie of 1993, but weirdly...
Yeah. Well, he also gave Jurassic Park like 3 stars or something, so what does he know?
Well, Gene Siskel...
He's like, what about the people? Why don't we care about the characters?
Gene Siskel kind of liked it, if that helps. Carnosaur. The film has, let's see, there's 3 movies, Carnosaur 2, Carnosaur 3, Primal Species, and 2 official spin-offs, Raptor, and in 2006... Raptor, your favorite.
I love raptors.
I know you do. The Eden Formula. So this is all stuff you gotta read and listen to and watch. Okay, Eric? Now, my promise last year was twofold, and mine were affordable, because Super Dinosaur... we have at the library. So I was able to check out Super Dinosaur by Robert Kirkman. And we talked a little bit about this over on Comic Book Coffee Break. This is a 4-volume series by Robert Kirkman. And the insane thing to me is, there's no attempt at a resolution. It just ends on a cliffhanging to be continued.
Yeah. You've sung the praises of this series until now.
Well, it starts so strong, you know? It's like the first volume is definitely very for a young age. You might like Super Dinosaur Weston. Have you ever read that one? No? It starts really strong. The first one has this cliffhanger that's like, oh my gosh, I have to read volume 2. Though it took me several years to pick up the rest of the series. But I got to the end and was like, surely there must be a volume 5. Surely there is some conclusion to this somewhere. But no, they put out 4 volumes of it and just left it completely unresolved. So I sort of feel like I can't really recommend Super Dinosaur, even though it's a good time most of the time, because it just doesn't go anywhere. And not even like a lot of thing is wrapped up, but there's a little bit hanging. The story does not resolve in any way, which I think for that kind of thing, like a kid's graphic novel, is crazy to me. I don't know why someone couldn't squeak out, whatever it cost to have like one more concluding issue when they put it out in trade paperback, but no. The other thing I read, and this is a movie, Weston, that I think you would like if it actually came to a movie. It's called Star Trek First Frontier. And this is a Star Trek novel, of course, as you might have guessed, by Diane Carey.
I thought it was a movie.
No, there's not a movie. It's by Diane Carey and by Dr. James I. Kirkland. And James Kirkland, is this a name you've come across, Eric, in your studies of all things dinosaur?
It's the one who wrote the Utah Raptor Red, who he just discovered.
He discovered the Utahraptor. Looking at his Wikipedia page, and he's an American paleontologist and geologist, and he actually discovered and named several different dinosaurs over the course of his career, including the Utahraptor, which is now the state.
Listen, I'm looking at all the other dinosaurs that he discovered, and it's kind of like you certainly have discovered some dinosaurs that look like other dinosaurs, but I gotta give it up. If he chose the name for Diabloceratops, well done.
That's pretty good. That's a solid choice.
Which it just translates to devil horned faced dinosaur.
Anyway, so the book right on the cover, you're in for a good time because it's Kirk and Spock, and there's just a big dinosaur in the back. Do you recognize what this dinosaur is that's behind them?
Is it a real dinosaur? Is it look out, it's a Spockosaurus?
Was that a Dr. McCoy?
I don't know.
That kind of sounded like a Spock, look out.
No, it looks like a theropod of some kind.
Okay. Well, anyway.
What are we looking at here?
I don't know. The plot of the book is actually kind of fun. What happens is they're on this mission, watching this, some Stargo Nova. I don't even remember what it is, but they basically find themselves in the past, And there's this whole like time travel situation, and they don't really know what's going on. The bulk of the story, they're in a point in time that they think is the present, but Earth is completely under, like there's nothing there. Like there's no humans on Earth. It's just like a big jungly kind of planet.
Right. Does somebody suggest they're in like the 1980s, and then somebody's like, but those are dinosaurs, and McCoy's like, you've never been to the 80s.
No, but I would read that too, honestly, if that were to come up. No, but they find out that something happened that prevented Earth being developed into like the society that we know, and it's just like the dinosaurs never died off, and so like humans and mammals, just never thrived, never grew. So the
kind of like the Good Dinosaur.
Yeah, kind of like that.
This is Star Trek's The Good Dinosaur.
Yeah, pretty much. I don't like that movie. How do you feel about that movie?
I think it's fine.
Okay.
I think if that's the worst we're ever going to get from Pixar, and it's not, that goes to Cars 2.
No. I beg to differ. Monsters University is much worse than Cars 2.
All right, you're right. But anyway,
okay.
Good Dinosaur is not their worst film, and I think there's some stuff in there. Okay. And they choked me up at the end.
Yeah.
But you don't have to work too hard like that.
That's true. A Pixar movie about dinosaurs, I mean, you were always going to be there. So anyway, they end up sort of teaming up with Vulcans, and there's a whole thing with the Klingons, and so it's just sort of like, what if the Starship Enterprise showed up on Earth, but it was just like dinosaurs. And there is some pretty cool stuff where they're down on the planet and they're like being stalked by dinosaurs, and it gets real technical about the dinosaurs. So I think that Dr. James I. Kirkland did all right by the Star Trek crew here. And his last name is Kirk. His name is James Kirkland. So, right. I mean, right there you have a pretty good connection. What else you got for Dinovember? Did you finally read that book?
You haven't been able to let me finish talk about the rise and fall of the dinosaurs.
Oh my gosh.
The History of the Lost World by Stephen Brissett.
Yeah. All right, let me hear it.
I don't know. As I've said before, your mileage might vary on this, because sometimes he's talking about like how do sauropods even work? How do they live? How do they survive? How do they breathe? And then like explaining that, you're like, whoa, that's crazy. Sauropods, they're insane. And then he's like, anyways, I was driving down the road with my friend James Johnson, and he's a big name. If you know anything about names in paleontology, you know that you should be jealous of me right now. Anyways, we had this vintage wine. I think it was a 78. Best wine in the world.
I'm sorry, and this was written by Stephen King, is that right?
No, this was Stephen Brissett. I mean, he'd be talking about the dinosaurs, and then it would be name dropping and hanging out with this person. It's like, nobody asked for your travel log here. We're picking up this book for the dinosaurs. And I don't know whose decision it was to split it. It's half the size if you take that stuff out. And so I just trained myself to skim through that stuff and pay attention for when he's like, so anyway, the Allosaurus.
That is a major pet peeve of mine in books or podcasts or whatever it is, when it's like the person telling the story can't resist continuing to insert themselves into the story. I hate it. So, and I'll tell you what, the marketing for this book, the cover of this book does not tell you that it's half travelogue.
No.
So
it's got some cool dinosaurs on
they
the cover.
slip that in there.
I appreciate it because there's a whole thing on tyrannosaurs.
Okay.
But then there's just a chapter for the T-Rex itself.
I see.
And he's just calling it. Anytime the book is like, the T-Rex is the rock star, I'm like, yeah! It's like, lived hard, lived fast. I'm like, go on! And there was actually kind of a sad moment for me, because he's talking about T-Rexes and how like they show up a little late in the Cretaceous, but then they're there right to the end. That the T-Rexes were there when the asteroid fell. Yeah. And, they went out on top. I'm like, oh, man! So truly the Elvises of or the Jimi Hendrix
definitely
say of the dinosaur world. I don't want to say the Elvises anymore, because Elvis didn't really go out on top, did he?
He did not. No, he did not. Let's not talk about it. Well, this is quite a turnaround, because this started being the book that you read right before you went to sleep, so to help you fall asleep, and it ended up being your rock star tub book by the end. So
that was fun. I mean, all the conversations about sauropods was cool. Talking about how, it's crazy to think that like stegosaurs were like everywhere during the Jurassic, and then the Cretaceous was like, no, sorry, we're full up on dinosaurs. Stegosaurs, you can take a hike, and they're like, but you let the ankylosauruses in there. Sorry. No, it's just they just disappear. But also kind of talking about that there were less variations, I guess, on dinosaurs.
Okay.
You kind of had and maybe that was part of the reason they went extinct so fast. It was just like a perfect storm. It wasn't just that the asteroid fell.
Right.
It was that you had all these creatures that had been around for a while and had now in their designated species kind of setting, so that when the asteroid fell and things went wrong, it was just dominoes because they weren't varied enough to survive changing climates.
Yeah.
Which is, kind of sad thing. And talking about how North America at the time, there's like a strip from like basically Alaska down to Texas that was like, if you look at the Cretaceous North American map, it's just this strip. And that's the strip that the T-Rex was just in. And like you've got your Edmontosauruses there, you've got your Triceratops, and you've got your Pachycephalosaurus. You've got just these plant-eating dinosaurs. Like, I guess we live on this strip with the T-Rex now? This kind of sucks for us. So it was a fun read. So it basically goes from like the early times up to the Cretaceous, and then, talking a little bit about the end times. So it kind of like a all-encompassing book. Like the Walking with Dinosaurs in book 4 in some way. So whereas that T-Rex book that I had read, I wouldn't necessarily suggest to anybody, because it was just kind of like, well, if you know this stuff, then you know this stuff. And if you don't, it seems like he's doing it in an overcomplicated way. The Tyrannosaur Chronicles by David Hone. This, I feel like, could be the everyman dinosaur book in a lot of ways if it wasn't for all those stinking travelogue stuff. Because I feel like that's going to take your attention away, and it makes it so much longer. Yeah. It's bizarre.
What a weird choice.
Yeah. I got to read Dinosaurs Without Bones at some point. There's also a new book called Dinosaurs Rediscovered.
Why don't they have bones?
Well, I think it's what we know about dinosaurs minus what we've learned from their bones. Like footprints.
Someone took their bones?
No, it's not a bunch of like gelatinous dinosaurs just flopping around. Blah, 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 blah.
Like that snake game.
Yeah, like
you
the snake game. You
control them like in the snake game. Yeah, Weston, or your goose game. You know what I mean? It's just like a snake.
It's more like if dinosaurs were jellyfish, is what you were saying.
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, it's cool. I've learned about this new dinosaur called the Belor Bondoc. It's basically this like, I don't know, 3-foot tall raptor creature that lives on an island.
Okay.
Had like the double of Velociraptor claws.
Okay.
But it's like stockier and more dangerous. But because it was on an island, so you have like these smaller versions and everything. Talked about the Argentinosaurus, just about how sauropods just went like to the max, and Argentinosaurus is probably as big as any creature on land can even get. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Okay. That sounds pretty good. I also did some scholarly dinosaur reading. This a book that came out in 1978 called Devil Dinosaur by Jack Kirby. Have you heard of Devil Dinosaur, Eric?
I have the red dinosaur that normally hangs out with Moon Girl.
Moon Girl,
these days.
That's true. Yep, he's found a new pal these days. This came out in, as I said, 1978, written and drawn by Jack Kirby. And Jack Kirby, I feel like most comic book fans, I think, are a fan of his art. I think it's a lot more divided on whether you want something that was actually written by Jack Kirby. But I actually thought Devil Dinosaur was among the best of his stuff that I read. And I know that you were not too hip to read this, but I think you actually might dig it, because it's a pretty laid back story about Devil Dinosaur, who's just a red dinosaur. He doesn't talk. He's just a legit dinosaur. And his little sidekick, Moon Boy, who is sort of like, he's got a very Planet of the Apes vibe to him.
Right.
So he's like that point in development. And so he's just like riding around on Devil Dinosaur. And they're just like getting into scrapes, like there's this kind of like the group of the bad guys, who chase him around, or sometimes people are trying to like take over the land, or they're just trying to find a place to like rest for the night. And there's ruffians in their zone. And so each issue is just sort of Moon Boy and Devil Dinosaur get into some trouble, and they work together to work it out. They're just in a prehistoric time, just living their Moon Boy and Devil Dinosaur lives. One issue, a little bit of cosmic trouble happens, and Devil Dinosaur finds himself in 1978 Nevada, and he's not a fan. Eric, he doesn't like it.
I don't know if he'd love 2020 Nevada.
Yeah, I don't think he would. No, I don't think he would. So it's 9 issues. And it does, I mean, it doesn't really have like a finale, but it mentions like, and this is the end for Devil Dinosaur for now. So they at least knew when the issue came out that was the end. But I actually think like
But you kept reading, no?
I did. Yes, I did. And in 2015, Devil Dinosaur is picked up again for the first time. He gets his own series again, and he hadn't in between ever had a title, but he'd pop up in different things. And I've had Devil Dinosaur pop up in things that I've read here and there, but I really enjoyed the 70s run, and I feel like if you haven't read Jack Kirby stuff, I think that's actually a good place to start, because New Gods or the Eternals are so trippy, and this is just very straightforward, but still has the cool look that you want from a Jack Kirby thing.
Right.
But after that, I was like, I like this character, I like this world, I like this setting, and so I picked up Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. Volume 1, which is a 2015 series by Amy Reeder and Brandon Montclair, with art by Tamara Bonvillain. As you go on...
Quit name dropping. Who are you?
Sorry.
The guy who wrote Rise and Fall of Dinosaurs?
Yeah, I wrote Rise and Fall of Dinosaurs, and I thought you'd want to hear about me and my friend just bumming around Utah, but apparently not. This series starts this way. Ultimately, the art is taken over by friend of the show, Aletha Martinez, and we did talk a little bit about her work on Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur in our interview a few episodes back. But this is set in the current era, and there's a little girl, Lunella, who is Moon Girl. She has the Inhuman gene, and she's trying to figure out a way. She's a super genius, and she's trying to figure out a way to stop the Terrigen Mist from turning her into some sort of inhuman creature.
Right. Yeah.
In doing so, she somehow opens a portal to the world of Devil Dinosaur. And Jack Kirby always sort of played Devil Dinosaur like it was an alternate world and not just like set in our past. And this kind of picks up that thread. So it opens up, and once again we see Moon Boy, and we see Devil Dinosaur, and we see the group of like roughs that are after him, trying to get this orb. And Devil Dinosaur actually accidentally makes his way back to the present, as he did in the Jack Kirby run, and the bad guys come after him, but Moon Boy is stuck in the past. So he ends up...
Okay, good. That Moon Boy's still there.
Yeah, Moon Boy's in the past. He ends up sort of teaming up with the new Moon Girl, and ultimately the Amadeus Cho version of Hulk shows up and sort of helps her get things under control. And they start a little journey, and this first 6 issues, so volume 1, ends with the Terrigen Mist coming, which is an Inhuman thing.
Yes, sure is.
Coming, and it just shows where
Inhuman suckfest.
Yes. Where Moon Girl is just an egg. And so Devil Dinosaur takes the egg and is guarding it, and that's how this volume ends. So we don't really know what happens with her. But the series is popular, and it went for at least almost 50 issues. I don't know if it's still going, but it was certainly outlasted Jack Kirby's 9-issue run. But it's fun because the Devil Dinosaur design in both the Kirby and the new era is fun. It's cool. And he's just a dinosaur. He's just a dinosaur who's friendly. I mean, he doesn't try to eat anyone. But it's a good time. I think you ought to give it a shot. I think you ought to find Devil Dinosaur on the Marvel app, because it is a quick read and it's not super wordy like you'd expect from Kirby. I had a good time with it. That was... Kirby's Devil Dinosaur was the highlight of my Dinovember, even more than First Frontier.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I know that you keep Dinovember in your heart year round.
It's Spock?
So.
Oh, it's a bunch of sauropods.
Oh, that's fun.
On my calendar for November. I haven't changed it.
That's nice.
Time doesn't mean anything in 2020.
No, it doesn't.
All right, we got a Giraffatitan and Dinosaurus coexisted. Okay, there it is. Yeah. So I'm looking at the Giraffatitans. Late Jurassic era sauropods that will look a little bit more like Brachiosaurus.
Yeah, you got to. Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, gotta love the Brachiosaurs.
You do, and I do. So,
I do. I love the Brachiosaurs.
All right.
So cool
do you have anything else you're gonna try to get under the radar of Dinovember? Any special dinosaur celebrations you have planned?
I was looking for other dinosaur books. Actually, reading this Rise and Fall of the Dinosaurs made me realize I don't know a lot about megafauna, like the big giant mammals that have been around. To think that like there's a sloth that was like, just skyscraped over people that existed on this planet. That's just crazy. It's crazy to look at like the creatures that came after the dinosaurs and be like, these are bizarre. These are so weird. These giant mammals. And I don't know. I feel like I need to start like going that way now.
I agree.
Get a little info about those creatures because it's just nuts. I mean, dinosaurs are always gonna, they're not gonna top the dinosaurs.
No, you can't.
To think that we shared the same planet with these freaks, it's something.
Have you ever watched any of the like basically the Sharknado but with dinosaurs? Have you ever watched like any Dino B movies like that?
No,
because
I've watched dinosaur documentaries.
Right, but not any goofy dinosaur. What about the Rift Tracks Planet of the Dinosaurs? Have you seen that?
No, but there was the
that's a good one
that had Future War.
Okay.
That was like Terminator and Jurassic Park.
Nice.
You remember the John, more like Jean-Claude Van Darn, or Jean-Claude Gosh darn it.
Yeah. Planet of the Dinosaurs is a good time, and every time the dinosaur shows up, they're just straight up claymation. So that's fun. I think EGA also with Richard Kiley is another Mystery Science Theater dino movie. Yep. Okay.
That's it.
All right. Well, remember, we've got all sorts of dino craft kits that you can pick up down at the curbside pickup location. We're doing different crafts each week, and you missed it, but we showed the Crudes, and we had like one great night in November, weather-wise, and so we scheduled a movie sort of last minute, and we had a great turnout, so that was a lot of fun.
I turned the Crudes off.
Yeah, actually, I did too. We were going to watch it at home when it first came out, and we watched it like the first 5 minutes, and I was like, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't need this in my life. But there's a new one, right? Isn't there like the Crudes?
There's a Crudes too. I don't know. After the Ryan Reynolds character showed up, I'm like, I'm just not in this. Goodbye, Crudes.
You tried. Is that Nick Cage?
Yeah, it's Nick Cage and Emma Stone.
Yeah. I don't know. You'd think that would hold me, but it just didn't.
No, it did not.
What are you going to do? All right. Well, I think that's a wrap on Dinovember. Unless you got any, can you hit us? Can you take us out with 2 to 3 unusual dino facts?
Unusual?
Yeah.
They didn't have knees.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
They didn't have kneecaps.
Oh, I see.
They didn't have kneecaps. The other thing is, I guess, the Pachycephalosauruses, the ones that have like the dome head that you often see like butting heads or ramming into each other. I've seen theories that say they weren't actually used for that, and maybe that was just like the base of like a skin horn. So those duck-billed dinosaurs that have the Parasaurolophus so maybe it was like that.
I see.
So there's that, and I guess. Oh, this Spinosaurus. People just recently discovered that he had like a weird flap tail kind of thing, like an actual fin tail.
Wow.
So instead of like a dinosaur tail like we normally see, it's got like a paddle tail. So it's just the Spinosaurus is just the weirdest looking dinosaur in the world.
Sounds
it's like the duck-billed platypuses of dinosaurs, except it would eat you. It's massive.
Really?
So
okay.
I found a dinosaur alignment chart that took the Dungeons and Dragons alignment charts and put him up there, and Spinosaurus was like lawful evil or maybe even neutral because he's the biggest meat-eating dinosaur there is, but he just eats fish, so you're okay.
Yeah.
Stegosaurus was put as lawful good, and the reasoning was he's just a good boy that loves the sun.
That's like you.
Yeah, I love the sun. I'm a good old boy that loves the sun.
That's all you are.
Like the Stegosaurus.
That's great.
So Stegosaurus is actually Nick's favorite dinosaur, but he's not aware of it most of the time.
I know. I've got it locked and loaded. After that one time you asked me, and I didn't think you'd ever forgive me when I was like, I don't know. That was a hard time. It was a trying time for our relationship.
Kendra's is the Parasaurolophus, the duck-bill. She was like, what's Ducky from Land Before Time?
Yep,
I was yeah. So that's her favorite.
We didn't even talk about Land Before Time. Truth be told, Weston is not in here right now, so I can tell you this. But I just can't bring myself to watch the first Land Before Time with him because I just don't think he could take it. Littlefoot's mom. I mean, it's just too much. I don't think he'd ever get over it.
No, you don't. You don't get over it.
I haven't gotten over it. I'm sad thinking about it right now. So,
Daddy!
Too much. It is too much. It's
a lot of baby dinosaurs being separated from their parents. Spike doesn't make any sense there. He's a Stegosaurus, but he's also the only Stegosaurus you see, and I think he's kind of adopted, so he might be the last.
Yeah, could be. Could be.
Yeah, Disney's Dinosaur tried to do something with that, because there was that Brachiosaurus that was like the last of her kind.
Okay.
It was also a bad movie.
Yeah, that's what I hear.
I'm going to give it a chance. I'm going to give it a second chance.
For Dinovember. I think you should.
I'm gonna watch Disney's Dinosaur and see if it's as terrible as I remember. It's got an iguanodon.
All right.
So the ride is great in Disney World, but only go there at your own risk now, and not because of the dinosaurs.
That's for sure. That's for sure.
Yeah, I wish our only problem was dinosaurs roaming the earth now.
Me too. You know what? Me too. I hear Jurassic World 3, I mean, did they wrap filming? Is that where they are now?
No, Dominion's been delayed.
Oh, it has been delayed. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, well, what do I know?
Sorry.
All right, well, Eric, thanks for sharing your dino facts with us. Weston, it's time to wrap things up. All right, well, I want to thank our special guest, Weston, for joining us. Weston, thanks for reviewing Jurassic Park Camp Cretaceous.
Thanks. Bye.
It was scary. It sounds too scary for me.
You think it's too scary for Eric?
No. You should
watch it. All right. Well, I got to finish it then. I'll catch up and I'll let you know.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for this week's episode of the All the Books Show. You can join us next week when we are doing a retrospective, a look back on 5 years of all the books. So we'll see you then.
Bye.
Okay.
Bye.
All right. Thanks, buddy.